Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is G. Cole, and welcome to Homegrown with G. Cole, where I get to share with you some good music while talking to some great people. Hello world, I hope you're feeling as good as I am. I want to big up all my homegrown listeners out there and welcome all the new listeners. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do, so we can keep you updated when new material is available. We will be posting new episodes bi-weekly. We're also now available on Spotify. I want to thank everyone who has been listening and sharing this podcast. Please leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoy the podcast, please give us a 5-star rating. We'd really appreciate it. And we have so much great content in store for you. This is episode 16. I want to talk about one of our sponsors, Cruise and Travel Professionals. My vacation is very important to me. I go to work, I pay bills, I take vacations. It's in a budget, just like the mortgage and the insurance. I worked in the cruise industry for over 13 years doing sales and customer service for 3 of the major cruise lines. So I've been a travel professional. When I left the industry, I booked my own, be it online or calling up myself, but no more. Not since I discovered Cruise and Travel Professionals. They do all cruises and land packages, even European river cruises. They save me time, but more than anything else, they save me money. In my experience, have taught me anything, it's go with the professionals. Cruise and Travel Professionals brings over 30 years experience in the travel industry. And guess what? The team there, I've worked with them when I was in the industry. So that gives me peace of mind. Call them up. Ask for Ingrid Daniels. They are the experts in travel. 240-560-2633. Again, 240-560-2633. Ask for Ingrid Daniels. Tell her G. Cole sent you. 240-560-2633.
Peace of mind is a holiday, and it's a trip that I love to take. And every time that I make this journey, it just blows my mind away. Peace of mind is a holiday, and it's a trip that I love to take. And every time that I make this journey, it just blows my mind away.
Hey, yeah. Blessed love is the voice of your singer Koriq. And right now, I say keep it locked, keep it right there. So you're listening to Homegrown with G. Cole. Don't change nothing.
Not a mercy.
Well, I'm in the mood to have a good time tonight. Wanna know where the party people them there. End of the week, I don't wanna sleep. Wanna know where the party people them there. You feel alright, I don't wanna fight. Wanna know where the party people them. Hey, no weapons allowed in the party. Just bring your queen and left your machine. Everybody feeling irate. No weapons allowed in the party. Found up on the scene, make sure bring your queen. Left the bad vibes on road and keep the vibes clean. No weapons allowed in the party. Just bring your queen and left your machine. Everybody feeling irate. No weapons allowed in the party. Found up on the scene, make sure bring your queen. Left the bad vibes on road before you walk in. It's time for us to have some fun, cause we work so hard, know the week it done. Party time cause the weekend and we no want no negativity. So if a badness you are praying, not invited to this party. We come to dance to the music, take your girl by the hand. Feel the music while we use it to spread love across the land. We come to dance to the music and we're only having fun. So leave the bad vibes, leave the knives and leave all the guns, because there's no weapons allowed in the party. Just bring your queen and left your machine. Everybody feeling irate. No weapons allowed in the party. Found up on the scene, make sure bring your queen. Left the bad vibes on road and keep the vibes clean. No weapons allowed in the party. Just bring your queen and left your machine. Everybody feeling irate. No weapons allowed in the party. Found up on the scene, make sure bring your queen. Left the bad vibes on road before you walk in. Every woman on my girlfriend, and every man in all the place on my brethren. Be a good vibes we build with my friend them. Music a play selector, does a shell them. It's a party, not a war zone. So leave all your weapons at home. Bring your girls and your crews and your dancing shoes, but don't bring no chrome car. We come to dance to the music, take your girl by the hand. Feel the music while we use it to spread love across the land. We come to dance to the music and we're only having vibes, leave the knives and leave all the guns, because there's no weapons allowed in the party. Just bring your queen and let the machine, everybody feeling.
And that one is No Weapons Allowed by Koriq. This week we're featuring singer, songwriter, musician Koriq, who has been making some really, really good music. In fact, we're going to be talking to Koriq real soon. Also, we don't normally tackle too many subjects that's been over politicized or that might be date stamped. But this is an issue that's been around from the beginning of time and is actually rearing its head again right now. I'm talking about sexual harassment or sexual misconduct in the workplace. And you know what? Sexual misconduct overall. Today I'm going to be chatting with comedian Ron Gunter, aka Gunter Nah Laugh, who's been making some crazy waves right now in the comedy space, tearing up the comedy scene with his stand-up. We're going to be talking to some ladies today also, since it would be absurd and maybe a little Congress-esque to be talking about something like this and not hear from the ladies. All right? This thing got blown up via Hollywood filmmaker Harvey Weinstein. And let's not forget the Bill Cosby accusations, Bill O'Reilly, Matt Lauer, Donald Trump, Senator Al Franken, John Conyers, and we could go on and on and on. There's so many more. Here's the thing. These issues are age-old and also almost always contested. The crazy thing is, even when it's on tape, even when the audio is clear, it's still being denied. You know what I mean? I really want to hear the ladies' perspective. So what we're going to do pretty much is when we get back, we're going to talk to one of the ladies, and we're going to hear right now a song by Koriq called All Woman. When we get back, we'll go ahead and take our first call. Keep it moving, keep it grooving. It is Homegrown.
If I could find her in real life, I would gladly make her my wife. Since I've been around the world, been to many places, seen many faces, now me know what me want and what me I search for. So let me describe this daughter. She speaks volumes with the softest voice, express herself with words of choice. Now go run off her mouth and attack my ego, cause I'm a man and she know how that go. She holds her head up high while her feet stay humble, walk right from false pride and never stumble. And that's the kind of woman I need in my life, yeah. She's all a woman, the one that I want. All a woman, the one that I need. She fulfills all my dreams and she satisfies my needs, yeah. The one I desire, the answer to all my prayer. That's the kind of girl who is the missing piece in my world. Well, I'm just a regular king, royal like the rest of them. Looking for a empress, we better than the best of them. Now go stress me out, now ningy like the stress of them. Don't move like them other one where every man them get them pester them. She's strong and she's gentle, she me wanting on my temple, and that's where I wanna be, beside this woman that's made for me, yeah. She's all a woman, the one that I want. All a woman, the one that I need. She fulfills all my dreams and she satisfies my needs, yeah. All a woman, the one I desire, the answer to all my prayer. That's the kind of girl who is the missing piece in my world. Well, there's so much to be said about a woman like this. Sometimes me often wonder if she really exists. Where would I find this girl? Could she be living in another world? Only in my mind is where I see her. I'd be happy just to meet her. I wonder if she's somewhere out there. Jaja, won't you bring her right here? She's all a woman, the one that I want. All a woman, the one that I need. She fulfills all my dreams and she satisfies my needs, yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk to Denise from Jersey. Denise, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Can't complain too much. If I complain, I would be ungrateful. You know what I mean?
Sounds good because I'm not listening, right?
Nobody is. Nobody is. Today we're talking about sexual harassment, sexual misconduct in the workplace, and primarily sexual misconduct overall. First of all, let me just go straight into it. What do you think about the current wave of sexual misconduct accusations going on right now?
You know, as a woman, you know, I think people tend to think that women are the victims than men. But I honestly don't think that that's the case. I think both male and female are victims of sexual assault. No, the sad thing about this epidemic of accusations is, as an individual and as a woman, I tend to wonder how much are really true, how much are really a fact of sexual abuse or sexual harassment, versus how many are just coming up now because it's just an epidemic that's going on right now. So it's kind of scary. It really is scary.
Wow. It's amazing to hear your take on it, because what you're saying, a lot of times in a conversation, a lot of times between men, guys normally have the conversation. And I think that is the point of view or the perspective from a lot of guys, who will probably say it amongst each other, but it's just not necessarily the coolest thing to say out loud, because you don't know how it's going to be interpreted. And you're absolutely right. When it comes to sexual misconduct, when it comes to any form of abuse, period, it's not gender specific. It could go either way. It's just that it's more popular one way. And not only is it more popular one way, but a lot of times it's not easy for a man to come out and say, hey, I've been sexually assaulted or sexually abused, or I've been a victim of sexual misconduct. We see even the Terry Crews scenario where he spoke about it in Hollywood, and they actually started making fun of him. So it's,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. It's scary. And I think maybe sometimes that's why most men don't say anything, because, they're not going to be looked at more as being macho or being a man. You're supposed to defend themselves differently, but that's not the case. Sexual abuse or misconduct, in any way, shape or form, it's just not. It's not something that should be accepted or tolerated.
Absolutely. And amazingly enough, talking about this, we like I said, we sometimes we split up into our groups. The women talk to the women, the men talk to the men. But I like having that conversation with women also, because again, no matter how I spin it, no matter how I swing it, I can't see it through your eyes. I'm also, right. I'm a guy I have a daughter, I have a wife. You know what I mean? I have more females in my immediate family. My mom's gone, rest in peace. But, mom, grandma, all that stuff. There are more females in my immediate family that I'm close to than I am the guys. So I'm very protective. Now, me getting a call from my daughter, getting a call from my wife, and so forth, it's not going to be something easy for me to swallow. I don't know how I'm going to respond to it. So I wonder if sometimes that's one of the reasons to why it's not brought up, especially by the wives. Sometimes it's swept under the rug because now you don't want your husband to go there and knock out somebody, and now here comes another case.
Right. And sometimes people tend to feel that they did something wrong to deserve it, and that's its keyword, deserve it. And sometimes they think that people won't believe them. And sometimes it's also the culture, and sometimes it's also, again, how you're brought up. So many people claim or say that I told my parent and my parent didn't believe me, and it's one of those subjects that people don't want to talk about, but it's important that we talk about it. Even to the kids coming up today, we got to tell them what this is, and if anybody touch you there or anybody, you got to say something. If you can't talk to me, use a code word. I tell my kids a code word to use. Even if you're staying somewhere and someone do something to me, you call me and you say, "Mommy, remember the code, the cat, the code word, whatever," and I'll know exactly what's going on. And trust me when I tell you, I will be there. I will be there, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. So we, as parents, we also need to be more vigilant and talk to our kids about it. Don't shun away from it. Talk to them about it and give them a keyword, give them a code to use, that even when they're in the presence of that person and they're afraid to they say that code word down, no one will know what they're trying to tell you but you, the parent, because you guys put this code word together. Wow. It's important. It's important.
Wow. And what I do appreciate about what you just said also is we're talking more so about adults right now, but you're absolutely right. What's happening pretty much is we got to drill this into our kids from their children, because a lot of times people are growing up not knowing their values, and that's when they get to accept certain things that are not supposed to be accepted and so forth, and or not know what to do. Because if you don't teach a child how to handle something, a lot of times they grow into an adult that does not know how to handle that.
Exactly.
But another thing pretty much is that, and you kind of touched on it earlier, my question really is, how many people and again, before I even go there, like I said, when it comes to I'm protective of the women in my family, and I want to make sure I'm explicit about it. You don't question if somebody says this is what happens, and guess what? Then you address it as such, take their word for it, and so forth, and then proceed. And if the law has to come into play, then you do what you do, make it take its course. Hopefully, everything will work its way out. It's always a he said, she said, and at the end of the day, neither persons are. I've never seen either person accept guilt. Sometimes the footage is out there; they're saying they didn't do it, and then sometimes the proof is in the pudding that it didn't happen, and the accuser is still saying it did. So it's a sticky situation. But what if people are just in a different place in their lives right now? 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you're in the workplace and somebody shows you some attention. The person's married, so it already makes it wrong. The person's in a position of authority, it already makes it wrong. They're also working in the same workplace, which from HR standard makes it wrong. So we triple the wrongs right now. However, the person, the victim today, back then may not have necessarily been anything but receptive, because of the fact that they may be somewhat enamored or intrigued by the fact that somebody of power and of authority is enamored with them. And then the response then is, more consensual than not. But now 30 years down the line, you're in a different place in your life mentally and in your personal life and so forth. Who knows? You're past, and who knows? And you're looking back through a whole different set of lenses. That's not necessarily what happened, but the conflict between what happened and your current beliefs. I'm wondering how much of that is fact. You know what I mean? Kind of sticky, real sticky. What do you think?
Well, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. I'm speechless with that one. I don't even. Yeah, and I'm really ever speechless. But I don't even know where to start with that. That would be difficult.
Right.
That would be difficult, and it happens in the workplace every day too. And it goes on. It's not accounted for.
Right.
Unfortunately, it's not accounted for. If it was me, I mean, I don't know if I would wait so long, but sometimes, and that's a common question people always ask too, why people wait so long? Mm-hmm. Why didn't you say something then? And were you not guilty? Are you just coming up with something now for some reason? And the answer is no one knows but the victim, right? No one knows but the victim.
That is so true. That is so true. It's a sticky situation, but we definitely. I just always want to have the female perspective. I don't think it's a topic I can sit on here and tackle with a bunch of guys only. I think it's only right for us to take the female perspective. But I thank you so much for your time, and
you're welcome.
Thank you so much again for calling in. We'll catch up. Now I'm really looking forward to talking to Bonita from Fort Lauderdale, because she was in the military. A testosterone-infused place, so I can just imagine. All right, but we're going to get into another song by Koriq called So Freely, and when we get back, we'll go ahead and take our next call. Keep it moving, keep it grooving. It is Homegrown.
Yeah. You make it so easy to love you, girl. You make it easy to love you. You make it easy to love you. You make it easy. I never knew a love like this could exist till I found you and discovered. Said me never need a bag of woman in my life, cause in you I found a friend, a party and a lover. Baby girl, every little thing my heart wish for, I got you give me, girl, and so much more. And I can't wait to see what you got in store for me, girl. You give it to me so freely, and you make me realize that loving you is so easy. And you satisfy my wants and all my needs completely. I'm gonna stay with you, but while you stay with me, please don't leave me, girl. I thought my life was complete till I met you. One conversation, I could not forget you. I went to sleep that night with you on my mind. I decided I just could not let you get away. Tell me something you know happen to me every day. This your girl, I make the rude boy want to stick and stay. You're not gonna short of love, girl, I got a lot of love. More than enough, you get that brought of love from me so freely. And you make me realize that loving you is so easy. Cause you satisfy my wants and all my needs completely. I'm gonna stay with you, won't you stay with me, please? Don't leave me, girl. Woman, you give me love and respect, and I don't have to question the strength of your loyalty. I'll stay by your side, talk about you with pride, just as long as you're giving yourself to me. And I'll be yours, you'll be mine, from this moment till the end of time. And for all this love that I'm getting, I will not be letting you down, girl, because you give it to me so freely, and you make me real.
Yeah, man, and that one is So Freely by Koriq. Tune mad. We're going to be talking to Bonita right now. Bonnie, on your line?
I'm here.
First of all, thank you so much for taking the time out to talk with us today. It's a sensitive subject, sticky subject, but, it's a conversation that needs to be had. So we appreciate you stopping through or, jumping on the line with us and helping us to have the conversation. It means a lot. Let me go straight into it. Let's talk the military. The military is a male-dominated place without question. So let's start with something that not everybody could relate to, which is tell me about the female experience overall in the military.
Well, of course, again, like you said, it's male-dominated. I was in the military a few years ago, and basically, for a woman, it's really hard because we're treated like the men, but we don't get equal treatments like men. For example, a guy in authority look at us as a soldier to a certain extent, but then they can, in their own, their own way of thinking, well, it's a woman, it's the same as being out there in the public or not in the military. You can do whatever you want to and get away with it. And in some cases, it may be true because some women don't know they have the strength to say no.
Right.
But for me, I guess the way I was brought up, I'm willing to fight back. And I'm always ready to fight back. That's the main reason I joined the military. I remember once, a few years ago when I was deployed, 2 higher-ranking soldiers approached me and basically thought that they were going to overtake me and do what they wanted while I was overseas. But you see, I grew up with brothers.
Right.
And as a tomboy first, a female second, I am going to fight. I am not going to let you take advantage of me, and I'm not going to sit there and cower and not say anything. And that's what's happening to most women today. They're afraid to express themselves. They're afraid to tell what's been happening to them. And so it keeps happening.
Right.
I've taught my daughter the same thing. Don't be afraid. Stand up for your right. You're not just a woman. You're a human being. You need to be treated like a human being, not a thing.
Wow.
And I was not going to let it happen to me. Like I said, these 2 men tried to overpower me just because they were a higher ranked.
Right.
And I was just I guess you call a foot soldier. I was just in a lower rank. And I just wasn't going to take it. Of course, when I fought back, I made sure to say to them, listen, you can go back and say, she was aggressive towards me and everything, but you're willing to go say this to a superior ranking officer that one girl overpowered 2 guys because they were trying to attack me? I don't think so. So basically, I turned the tables on them.
Right.
But you have to speak up. You have to know that you're not a thing. You're a human being. We're all human beings, and we need to be treated that way.
Well, let me ask you this, because what happens is, and even with what you're saying right now, I think a lot of times people are fearful of what the consequences may be based on where they are. If it's in corporate America or corporate wherever in the world, it may not go in their favor.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You see, they're putting their safety second and the job first. Put your body as a priority. Your
Right.
safety comes first. The job relies on your safety.
Right.
If you're not safe, how are you going to be productive in the workplace?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely right. Now, let me ask you this: even from a repercussion standpoint, did those guys ever suffer any repercussion as a result?
The only repercussion I know one of them suffered was because of the military training I had. You know, we were taught combat skills. my my first instinct was to hit below the belt.
Right, right, right.
So again, a guy's pride always overpowers, you know, the them going back and reporting, hey, this girl did this to me. No, they're not going to do that. Just like most women, and unfortunately, most women won't report when a man overpowers her. A guy's not going to report how a woman overpowered him.
Well, did you report it?
Oh, I did.
And did anything come of it?
They got kicked out.
Okay, okay, okay. And see, that's the thing is I think right now people, and I'm not even going to say women, because abuse, sexual misconduct, sexual harassment, it's not gender specific. It happens the opposite direction too. But I think people need to know and have a little bit of confidence that justice will play out and justice will prevail. Because even in and let's step outside of the military for a second and step within the corporate world. There's HR, but a lot of people feel like HR is not there to necessarily protect them, the employees. HR is there to protect the company. And to some degree, and sometimes they are correct. Not saying at all or justifying why they shouldn't report it, but you can tell why some people are fearful.
You know what? And it's true. There are some companies that are more interested in protecting their face, the company's reputation, than worrying about a male or female being harassed in the workplace. They will sweep it under the carpet,
right?
And that's very bad. Again, based on that information, most people who don't report something like this end up having to either leave the job, end up being fired, only because they can't concentrate on their work. They're worried about what's going to happen, and their main focus is on what had happened, and therefore they can't do their jobs.
Right.
Who wants to be in that environment?
That is true. That is so definitely true. And I also feel like it's possible, too, that if they don't report it, then they also set themselves up for it happening again. And not just from them,
of course,
from the first perpetrator, but from somebody else. Because people talk and they be like, oh, well, she, you know what I mean? And next thing you know, somebody else tries something like that. So I think it's really, you're not doing yourself any justice. You're doing yourself a huge disservice by not reporting it.
Reporting it, exactly.
But the one thing I think is worse, the one thing I think is worse than all of this, though, is when it is not true. And you do have scenarios and situations where it is not true. So the question would be, what about those people who create these? Like I was mentioning to the previous caller, sometimes I think people see things stories now, and whether they're creating it or not, I don't even think they create the stories. A lot of times it's not so much that they fabricate it as much as they tailor it, or their memory, they control their memory. In other words, this happened 30 years ago, but 30 years ago I was at a different place in my life. So my view, my response, everything back then is different from it now. And I'm approaching the subject of yesteryear with the perception of today.
I can't agree with someone who wait for 10, 15, 20 years to report something and expect something to come out of it. Right. I honestly can't. I mean, even though as a woman, yes, it's good that you come forward, but why didn't you come forward back then? It's not going to be as effective now as it would have been back then, when it was fresh, when it was happening, when it just happened. If you wait 10 to 15 years and then you report it 15 years down the road, it feels as if you're trying to be vindictive.
Right.
If you don't report it now and you wait 15 years down the road, why are you reporting it then? What are you getting out of it?
Yeah,
This is how I see it. You know what I mean?
I definitely agree with the fact that it is damning for them to wait that long. And a lot of times it puts the public, because there's a court of public opinion that unfortunately seems to be the louder court. You could be found innocent or guilty in the court of law, but the court of public opinion still rides. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's
My I'm sorry for interrupting. Here's my thought on that. Like I said, if it happened 10 to 15 years ago, you don't know something may have changed in this person. This person may have after that time had a family, had a daughter, realized what they've done, may have changed their, thought on how they behaved back then.
right.
And now you're reporting it and you're bringing this up. Why are you doing that now? Why didn't you bring it up then?
Right.
Because now you're just creating more problems. Now you're creating a problem for yourself because first, prove it.
Right. Right.
Prove that it happened 15 years ago. Unless, of course, this guy is he's so reformed that he's gonna say, yes, it did happen. Some guys are gonna say, no, it didn't.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that reformed. The thing is, we watch the news, the tape's out, the footage is out, the audio's out, and then people still say it wasn't me. You know what I mean? Wasn't me. But the other thing pretty much is this. That being said, there is no statute of limitations on somebody's hurt and trauma.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That is true.
So that's why it's an issue for me, because the person who is doing it for the wrong reasons, whether it be you completely fabricated it, or it was somewhat consensual back then, but the circumstances were not favorable for the person you're putting forward as a perpetrator.
Right.
Based on, again, they were in authority, they were already probably married, and so were you, or whatever the case may be. No matter how you spin it, it's a scenario where you do have the right to feel the way you feel, but when you do stuff like this, it weakens the case for those who've really been hurt, because you have some people who they didn't report it for one reason or another. Sometimes people are, you're a single mom, you got 3 kids to take care of, and you're really, really concerned about the income. Things are already tough. And of course, you know what too? There's certain people based on whatever they do in their public lives, their private lives. And even again, you're a single mom of 3, whatever. Sometimes people judge and, they'll be less likely to believe you, and you sit down there, you ponder up all these things in your head and give yourself, self-inflicted mental blocks as to why you may not be believed, and then you let it go.
And again, the question would be, why did you wait so long?
Hey, here's the thing. A lot of times one voice is soft, but you put 15 together, you got a choir, So a lot of times, and again, I'm just looking at it from both sides in terms of sometimes they feel like, okay, you know what? It's loud enough right now. But we're talking about the people who've been wronged, who are really, honestly, accurately, truthfully been wronged. But then the issue here is those that weren't. And I'm not even saying that the inappropriate act didn't happen. In no way, shape, or form am I disputing whether or not the act happened. The issue is, was it what you're painting it as?
And I agree. I understand what you're saying. But like I said, in most cases, for me, if it's not reported immediately, because I am very outspoken, I will fight. I'm a fighter. And for those who are quiet, I'm sorry that they've waited so long, but now it's harder for you to prove your case.
Right.
And the thing is, you may have waited this long, and he may have promised you something, and you've waited and waited because you were expecting this promise to come true. And when it doesn't after 15 years, you are angry, so you're gonna lash out and report this. And some people are like that, which is what drives me insane. If women have been wronged, report it immediately. Stop sitting on this and then using it as some sort of bargaining chip.
Yeah.
And that's what most women do. And that is wrong.
Wow.
2 wrongs do not make a right.
Right. And again, I just feel for the people who are really and justifiably wronged, and they're being, it makes their case a lot harder,
Yeah, but that's what makes their case a lot harder. These people who wait too long.
Well, let
So
me ask you
now,
this: are there any justifiable reasons for somebody to not say anything? Do you deem or see any justifiable reason why somebody? Is there anything that somebody could tell you and say, "This is the reason why I didn't report it"? That you would say,
I'll
"I get
tell
you."
you what, there are several scenarios to that. One, the person thinks if they hold out, they can use this against somebody when they need something badly. Two, they're really, truly afraid that they're going to lose their job or lose the position they're in, or it's monetary reasons. They don't want to say anything because they need the money that's coming to them if it's from the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
And three, it was consensual.
Right. Right.
So there's three different options right there, three different scenarios. But which one are we to believe?
You know, funny enough, I had the conversation with somebody once, and actually it was a lady, and one thing she brought up that I never thought of is pretty much that when you report it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say the victim here, or the so-called victim here, is also married and so forth at home. What's the effect that it has at home? I wonder if the spouse at home is saying, I wonder if this leader was really, you know what I mean? I wonder if it was a consensual act that went wrong. You know, because now it's one of two things. Either the person at home is going to support you and be like, okay, you know, my wife's been a victim or whatever the case may be, or in the back of their mind, are they wondering at home, I wonder how much of this mess right here is
It's
really
true.
her. You know what I'm saying? So it's an angle I've never looked at it from, but it
And
exists.
and see, this is what I'm talking about. If the person who is married and it happened, and you don't report it, obviously, if you wait too long, your husband's gonna start thinking about things like these when it does come up years later. Wait a minute, why didn't you come to me? I'm your husband. Was it because it was consensual, like he's saying? So it brings a lot of doubts into the relationship. If you had reported it immediately, you go home and run to your husband and say, oh, I've been molested or I've been approached by, and so you're immediately reporting it to the person who you trust.
Right.
This is you. You're supposed to be trusting your husband. If you don't trust that your husband is going to believe you and you wait 10 to 15 years, what makes you think he's going to believe you now?
Nah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. And you know what? Even prior to all this coming out right now, because it seems like a whirlwind right now, we had a conversation, some of my friends and I once, we're talking about similar scenarios. And it's almost like, you know, I always feel like when HR gets called into play, when somebody reports something to HR, 9 times out of 10 is because they weren't attracted to that person. No. If somebody makes, I'm not saying direct misconduct, but if somebody makes a comment, if somebody does certain things, whatever the case may be, and it's somebody, not to say you're going to act on it because you're either married, they're married, whatever the case may be, but it's somebody you have some form of attraction to, you might be like, that boy just crazy. You know what I mean? But if it's somebody you have no attraction to and you're repulsed by, and him come on and say, hey, those are nice shoes, HR. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it's one of them scenarios. And like I've jokingly said myself.
I know. And unfortunately, that is true in most cases. If there's an attraction, if the person who's making an attempt towards, you know, like a move on this person, and notice I said person because guess what? It can work both ways.
Right.
You can have a woman in power who's doing this to a man.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not only women who should worry about this. It can be men who are under the supervision of a woman in power.
Right.
Now, if there's an attraction, of course, they're just going to brush it off and say, oh, because it's fun. They think it's cute. They think, oh, he likes me. They think it's cute. But it's not cute when it becomes, too much involved where it's going to put your career in jeopardy, your relationship with your family in jeopardy. You know, it makes you look like you asked for this.
No, it's true. And then I mean, even from the opposite end of it too, it's like, you know, somebody approaches you the wrong way or approaches me the wrong way at work and say, hey, such and such, and you look up and it's not exactly that person. 1 time's too much. HR's got to be called. You know what I mean? Halle Berry does it to you. Be like, girl, if you do this 14 more times, I might have to call HR. You know what I mean?
But you know what? Sometimes I'm sorry, I can't put my trust in HR all the time.
Yeah, most of the time.
Because like we said earlier, sometimes HR is only looking out for the company.
True.
And that's sad.
Sad is an understatement. It's ludicrous. I just sometimes I wonder to the tone of, those who are in authority when they set the tone. And the truth be told, and if night should ever turn to day, if we pick the rug up and see, you'd be surprised. And again, nothing gender specific. You'd be so surprised if everybody was to get, HR was supposed to do their job right about now. We'd probably have no head of any company right now. We'd be running free. So, but you know what? Thank you so much. I really appreciate your perspective.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, my pleasure. And we'll catch up soon. Thank you so much again. It's Homegrown. I want to stop and say thank you and big up everybody out there that's been supporting the podcast, Homegrown with G. Cole. We've been on since September. We've been doing phenomenal. I really, 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 really appreciate the support. All the stations that broadcast the podcast and rebroadcast the podcast. Royal Zion Highness, big up yourself, Esther Selecta. Live 11, big up yourself, DJ Dean. You know what I mean? We also have DJ Warwick, over there at Just Music. JustMusic.com. Thank you so much to everybody. Like I said, everybody that's supporting the movement. And what we're going to do right now, we're going to get into a song by Koriq called Count on You. When we get back, we're going to talk to the man himself, Mr. Rowan Gunter, a.k.a. Gunter Nah Laugh. It's all about that music. Keep it moving, keep it grooving. It is Homegrown.
Whole heap of song up on the road, we talk about haters, fake friends and girls that only love you for your papers. Special request to all the people, them will love you for real. The one that delivered sign and seal, so sing it with me. I've been through a lot with you, and I see that your heart is true. It's nice to know that I can count on you. Yeah, 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 yeah. When all of my friends them gone, you still manage to hold on. Sure. It's nice to know that I can count on you. Yeah. From day one you're there with me like a shadow. Joy or sorrow, you're there with me, never left me. No matter broad road or narrow, you never get paro. You're always there. That's why I say I could never find no value in running down on you, love. I'd rather part with you, love, because you give me true love. Struggles we've been through, but we still tighter than a new glove. And I've been through a lot with you, and I see that your heart is true.
I love our tune a big time, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up from the top. You know what I mean? I know you don't mind.
On the road we talk about haters, fake friends and girls that only love you for your papers. Special request to all the people, them will love you for real. The one that delivered sign and seal, so sing it with me. I've been through a lot with you, and I see that your heart is true. It's nice to know that I can count on you. Yeah, 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 yeah. When all of my friends them gone, you still manage to hold on. Sure. It's nice to know that I can count on you. Yeah. From day one you're there with me like a shadow. Joy or sorrow, you're there with me, never left me. No matter broad road or narrow, you never get paro. You're always there. That's why I say I could never find no value in running down on you, love. I'd rather part with you, love, because you give me true love. Struggles we've been through, but we still tighter than a new glove. And I've been through a lot with you, and I see that your heart is true. And it's nice to know that I can count on you. This much is true, yeah. When all of my friends them gone, you still manage to hold on. And it's nice to know that I can count on you. Sure. Everybody loves you when you're on the rise, but when the going gets tough, surprise, surprise, the mask comes off. No more disguise, you're on your own. It's time to wake up and be wise. I know say no for them, I never did your real friend. Thespians and actors, them did good for just a pretend for so long. But through it all, you've been there for me, so I will never leave you out. I'll always keep you close to me, because I've been through a lot with you, and I see that your heart is true. It's nice to know that I can count on you. Ooh, 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 yeah. When all of my friends them gone, you still manage to hold on. And it's nice to know that I can count on you.
Yes, man, that one is Count on You by Koriq, and that's a big tune. Make sure you look out for that one. Again, song's called Count on You by Koriq, a monster. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now going to be talking to the award-winning Mr. Ron Gunter, that goes by Gunter Nah Laugh, has been making some crazy waves lately, performed with Christopher Johnny Daly and a whole lot more. I've been seeing him on stage all over local and international TV. Gunter, welcome, my brother.
Yeah, man, thank you very much for having me. It's your boy Gunner with an accent.
Easy. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, go on, King. I see all over the TV them everywhere. Everywhere me turn on my TV, me turn on my internet. I go into that on a stage, I mash it up somewhere. How's everything been going?
Yeah, man, what you want to say, sometimes when you like something, it's like you take an intermission. So I think I did an intermission where I was resting and then went to Jamaica, and it's like I got a renewed energy and decided, you know what? I'm just going to start. Let's see people see what's really popping, because it's like if they don't see you do the shows them and the stuff them things, so you're sleeping on the job. Mm-hmm. So I just decide, so yeah, I'm going to start push out some stuff, and take it to another level, So that's what I've been doing.
Love it, my brother. And a long time I see y'all do your thing and I grind, and that's why I tell people all the time, when you see somebody doing their thing and getting the success and so forth, don't look upon them and feel it as some overnight thing. You might just see them right now, but they've been at this for a minute, and you're a testament to that.
Yeah, my respect for that. It's the same thing with Johnny, same thing with Major, because people might be seeing Major a long time I put in the work. I put it in from it is 15 seconds on Instagram. Johnny, I do it from him there on Line 3 Lane, and I just know people, I realize who Johnny is. You understand? So you have to make baby step before you start running,
Yes, I am. Well, let me ask some questions, because I've been talking, I've spoken to two ladies since not too long ago regarding this crazy thing that's going on right now in terms of sexual misconduct, sexual misappropriation, sexual harassment, not just in the workplace, but sexual misconduct overall. And I made sure, to make sure I spoke to the ladies first. It's a delicate subject. It's a sketchy topic. So I don't want to be like Congress and they approach women's rights and women's feelings and women's things that they're going through on a daily basis, and we approach it from a male standpoint only. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not a gender specific thing. It happens to men too. You know what I mean? But what's your take right now from Gunter as to what going on right now in the stratosphere as to with this whole sexual misappropriation and everything coming under the woodworks? We see Cosby accusations, Harvey Weinstein, Bill O'Reilly, Matt Lauer, Donald Trump, Senator Al Franklin, John Conyers. What's your take on what's going on right now?
Okay, well, you don't know, there's a concept that I have, and the concept is that sexual harassment is a thin line between sexual harassment and sexual advancement. So may I say? Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, because what happens is that if and most times sexual harassment normally is associated with a person who is in position. But if me there a workplace and me see a young girl start work there and me and I up on the same level and I make sexual advancement to her, probably she would not consider it as sexual harassment, but really and truly it could be sexual harassment. Right. But once you become somebody in a supervisor position and I make sexual advancement, then people want to associate it with sexual harassment. So people need to try and get the difference sorted out. Because if as a supervisor I see somebody and I'm interested in, it can just be genuinely I'm interested in this person, because relationships are started from association, whether you go to a gym, a school, or you're in a workplace. Mm-hmm. Most people who are in a relationship all over the world some of them is from the workplace. Right. So people must understand that not because I am sending sexual or I'm interested in you, it means that it's a sexual harassment. However, sexual harassment now would be if me make advancement to you and I reject your advancement, and then you see me start to change and deal with you different because of you not accepting what my offers were. Right. You catch what I say? Yeah. Yeah, so not because me make an advancement to you, it is sexual harassment. Right. Sexual harassment is if I say, okay, if you're not there with me, then I'm going to demote you, I'm going to suspend you, I'm going to fire you.
So in other words, the advancement and approaching the person is not where the sexual harassment lies. Is what
that should not be.
It's what happens after.
Yeah, it should not be. So, and most of these cases are advancement and not sexual harassment.
I hear you. I got you. I got what you're saying.
You understand? Because if me invited somewhere for a dinner, a nice dinner and rose, and I said, boy, I'm not telling a lie, I really like what you look in your outfit and so forth, and I would really like to see more of you. That is sexual advancement.
But that's outside of the workplace, though. So you say the thing is, you met them in the workplace, you like the person, you invite them outside of the workplace. Now, if the person went with you on that date and you make an advance, them can't say a sexual harassment. I mean, I'm asking.
They will still say it because you're still their supervisor, whether you're on the job or
you're talking about supervisor and then subordinate. Okay,
yes.
Okay. But here's the thing, though.
Is the position why it becomes harassment,
You think
because
so?
If we were on the same level, so we're level one, and and she's not interested in me, there is no financial or no benefit from me and you hooking up. So then people don't consider it as an harassment.
But that's what I'm saying, though, is that who when they say people are considered as harassment, it's not necessarily who the people them be, it's the person who is feeling that way. And I guess what I mean is this. In the gym, out in the streets, wherever you are, there are no rules that say do not date within the workforce. Normally when you go on job and so forth and you do you start out and you do your thing, they're going to teach you and they're going to tell us, boy, well, this is not that and that's not that. No, you're not a supervisor yet, so the whole concept of don't date your subordinates won't come up. But it probably will come up that, no dating in the workplace during your orientation. And then if you now move up later on and become a supervisor, then you should know better than to do that. And you're absolutely right. I am a firm believer that it's sexual harassment that is brought forward a lot of time when there's no attraction. Me just feel so. In other words, if you reach out to a girl, whether she's your subordinate or not, and she like you, now she might be married or preoccupied and can't date you, can't deal with you, but there's some form of attraction. She probably just shut it down and just laugh it off and cool. Right. But if she not no attraction to you, HR.
Yeah. So you see, that's another thing. So that means that it is open up to the fact that there probably is even 3 different type of harassment. So you have harassment, you have advancement, and then you probably have rejection.
Mm-hmm. Well, some people don't deal with it too well.
No, some people don't deal with it too well. So when somebody rejects you, when you're in a position, then you start to act different. And then the person said, just because them try to advance with me and I did not accept it, they start to act differently. Then they feel like they should report it as sexual harassment.
I got you. Boy,
you understand what I'm saying?
No, I hear you. It's a sticky subject, and it's a
very sticky subject.
It's a slippery slope, because my thing pretty much is, I remember having an employee once, and I told that employee, because I'm the manager of the office, me know what can happen, and everything is fine until something happens. Everything is great. You start dating somebody within the workforce, everything is great until the two on and say eye to eye, until they break up. I just say then problems come into play. Okay, you know what? This was wrong. Right. He was doing that and so forth. But you don't speak about, you eliminate the process and the part of that was consensual.
All right. This is another thing I'm going to say to you too. Though just like you have people wrongfully charged for murder, wrongfully charged for rape, there are lots of people who are wrongfully charged. And sexual harassment is even harder to prove that it took place than the other above. Mm-hmm. Because if I make an advancement to you verbal, and just because you don't like me, you feel like it's an opportunity to say something and benefit financially or however from this, I can really just say to you, this they really like, and I would love to also with you. And she can go to HR and tell HR and say, I am putting pressure on her, whatever the case is. And that can let me lose my job without evidence, just the fact that she reported it.
True. But here's the other side of that too. 9 times out of 10, because I'm a firm believer that, and this is from my experience and seeing what I see, and even what you see on TV right now and the news and whatnot, HR are not, a lot of times is not there to protect the person who is the so-called victim. You know, HR sometimes is there to protect the company. So what's going to happen a lot of times is this: if it's a person that's high enough in authority, and the person that's lower on the totem pole reports something like that, and some shift up and some shake ups go on, 9 times out of 10 is the person that's on the lower part of the totem pole that's get let go. You know what I mean? So, like I say, I agree. I agree when you say, you know, it's one of them scenarios where it's hard to prove, but a lot of times without proof, some form of justice, whether it be justice or injustice, is gonna be served. So, and that's why I agree with companies when they put that in the bylaws and so forth. Say, boy, you know, no dating within the workforce. Like I said, I've had that scenario where I had an employee, told them not to do it. They did it. It never ended up good. Luckily, I left before it blew up, so it wasn't on me to say, okay, well, you knew about it. I never said nothing. But it's like I said, it's a very sticky thing. It's a very sticky subject because you never know when it's going to be brought up. And it's one of those things, like you said a while ago, it's one of them accusations that harassing somebody doesn't normally have any form of physical evidence to it. Rape, there's physical evidence of rape. Murder, physical, you're dead.
Physical.
You understand me I say?
Okay. All right.
Harassment.
That is the thing what I'm trying to say. You cannot charge somebody for saying that they're going to. Although murder might be different, because that's a threat. If you say, I'm going to murder you, that's a threat. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But in terms of someone saying, I'm going to rape you, that probably is a threat also.
Yep.
So it kind of is, although it's not physical, if you can prove or have it recorded that the person said that they're going to murder you, they're going to rape you, those are considered as threat.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
No, but, and I want to say that some people benefit or put themselves in the position, like they flirt. Let's call it flirt, not put themselves in a position. Let's call it flirt. They flirt with managers for the same reason. And then when the benefits does not arrive, then they start to create this bad environment that it was a sexual. Just like what you said earlier, once things not going their way, then they start to cry. It's sexual harassment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every case is a little bit different, but we as human beings just have to be very cognizant of our surrounding. And you can't tell people that they can't have a relationship with their coworkers. They can only say it, but it's not going to, cause people are going to attract it to people who are in their environment. No matter where it is, whether it's work, whether it's gym, whether it's school, that's just how we are. We can't. Most people want to be able to see you and attract you. Some people might use internet and social media to find people and reach out to them and so. But while some people would rather see you, I see how you act, I see how you present yourself, and then this is what I'm attracted to.
Gotcha.
So we're going to always find that persons are going to say that it's a sexual harassment, when sometimes it might be just sexual advancement. Right.
Well, but here's the thing, though. Here's the other thing, pretty much, is this. Sexual advancement could probably be considered sexual harassment, too, because here's the thing. If you see somebody and you like them, you're not supposed to approach them sexually. You can approach them on a social level and make them know, say, you like them or you care about them or whatever the case may be. Or would I like to get to know you? And if it's a shutdown, it's a shutdown. If them say yeah, it's yeah. But the thing is, remember, you know, the cases are not cases of social advancement. It's sexual. So pretty much somebody is reaching out to you sexually inappropriate. That's why somebody are say, boy, it's a sexual harassment. If you just tell somebody, say, hi, I find you attractive, can we go out? Them can shut that down. That's a social advancement. But I think it's a lot more than that when it comes to the sexual thing. It's a situation, okay, I catch you in a position of compromise, that may alone get together and so forth. I may touch you, grind up on you and all them little thing there. So that's what I think the major difference is.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying that there are cases in some of the names that you probably mentioned that are not physical.
Right.
Because I think one of the cases is, I think it was probably text messages. If you understand what I'm trying to say, it's not like a physical, like touch you and anything. So that's why I mean, persons need to try to get this, to find out the differences. Once they know the difference, then we won't be having some wolf cry. Because I am a strong believer that everybody should be respected in their own way.
Yep.
And whether you're a man or you're a woman, if somebody feel like them trying to make advancements and you're not interested, they should leave it alone. Because there's too much people out there for you. So if you knock on one door, it's not working, you go another door. So once you see somebody's not interested, move along.
You know, you're right. You're absolutely right. But you know, the crazy thing about it too, them try a lot of times it's spun from the angle of the man and oh man, this and that. You know who don't take rejection well? Women. So trust me, because women are accustomed to getting with it. When I say getting what they want, it's very rare that a woman approach you or solicit you and the man say no. You know what I mean? Regardless of what they're not used to that. Biologically, genetically, they're just not used to that. But so, you know, when somebody says, no, I'm good, not attracted, whatever the case may be, then, you know, at that time certain things happen. And like I've said before, you know, if somebody come to me and approach me, I'm not really find them attractive, HR right away. But if a Halle Berry, I can tell Harry, listen, Halle Berry, listen, if you do this 50 more times, I can call HR, you know.
And then we have also the culture and the stigma that if a man reported it, I report him sexual harassment, then he might sissy, he might this, he might that.
Yeah.
So there are probably a similar amount of cases of man sexual harassing men, but because of the culture, they don't come out with it.
Yep.
But it's a very ticklish topic, and I don't know if we can lower the harassment, but I think that I don't know what to say. More than likely, the advertisement that are running presently, as these are adding up. Once you see it, everywhere in the world is talking about this sexual harassment thing. It's an advertisement to persons out there who like to sexually harass that you should desist. Right.
True that. Well, guess what? Let me ask you about on a different note now, because that is something we can talk about all year long and can't come to a conclusion. Talk to me about the Laugh Continues coming up in February 25th at the Garden.
All right. So you don't know, once we have topic like this, sexual harassment topics, right? And we have Trump and current affairs, because you know, as comedians, it is important that we talk about stuff that is happening presently, different from the fact that we're going to talk about our background, history, and other stuff. So they're more than likely there are going to be comedians who are going to be talking about this topic at the show. So we try to keep it very current, and this is a project that I have. The idea is to showcase the fact that Jamaican comedians as well can be a part of the art form of stand-up comedy. So we are trying to push this here in Fort Lauderdale, which is at the Garden. Same place where Memory Lane is and Vibes Lounge. It's at that same plaza. So the idea is every last Sunday, we want to do this comedy show. And it's like a workshop for comedians. Because, you know, if you don't have somewhere where, like, you know, you have artists, they go to a studio and then vibe. So, and then until them perfect them art. But where do we have as comedians to go to vibe and write a new joke and test it to the people and make the people them say, oh, yeah, man, this can work. And you can go back home and say, I mean, you step out the sentence, like, put in the word, put that right there. So we put a pause right there so to make the thing become perfect. So the idea is to have this as a workshop for comedians, new comedians, old comedians to come every last Sunday. People come out and vibes. We write. And then when the big shows, we can bring that same joke that we written for the workshop and bring it there at perfection and deliver it the way it's supposed to be delivered. So this is every last Sunday at the Garden. And the first show, which is on the 25th, we have Ryan Barrett, who is a white stand-up comedian. He was a medical nurse, and he decided that he wanted to focus all his energy on stand-up comedy. So more than likely, he's going to tell you his experience in medical field. We have Ridiculous, who is one of the hosts on the West Palm Improv. And more than likely, once he's doing hosting at Improv, it means that he's doing a good job. Then we have Chicken George, who is from South Florida. And he is somebody who I've used on show before, and people always tell me that he's very good and to bring back. They brought him back. And then you have yours truly, Ruan Gunter, who is trying to push Jamaican comedy in the United States. And I need everybody to come out and support me. You know, if it's even one time, you can come out and say, at least I supported him one time on the mission that he has. You see what I say? If you wouldn't live in Florida and you know somebody in Florida where you can probably just say, go and have a laugh.
Yeah.
Send them come at the garden 25th of February. The mission and the vision should come together. One time in the building, reporting live.
Mad. I love it. Gunter, drop some social media info for the masses so them can find you.
All right. So you don't know, I'm very Googleable. For me, put in Gunter, L-A-U-G-H, you know, so you can find me. But on Instagram, I'm Gunter Now Laugh. On Facebook, I'm Rowan MNL Gunter. On Twitter, I'm Gunter Now Laugh. And I might soon change my name on Facebook to Gunter Now Laugh. Just so that way, when you put Gunter Now Laugh on Google, everything just pop up like popcorn.
Mad.
Talking about popcorn, let me tell you this. A lot of people is very curious of the fact that popcorn and Vibes Cartel is no longer friends, and they're wondering why is it that these two artists who shared so much #1 hits together is not friends. I heard that Vibes Cartel went to the movie with his girlfriend and she said she want to eat popcorn, and from that relationship mash up.
Gunter, you know, say have me there for a minute. Brother, you have to stop it. You have to stop it. Yo, I tell you this, I'll be there. Trust me, I'll be there. I'm going to splash it by my social media avenues to make the masses come out. I've seen some of your stuff. I haven't, but like I tell you before, I've been caught up, haven't made it to the show. May I make sure some of the I don't want it. Because what I've seen thus far, hilarious. On YouTube, on the Jamaican TV circuit, everything. And the feedback and the reviews have been exceptional, my brother. So first of all, congratulations on the notoriety that you're gathering right now. And on top of that, best of luck and much success with the future endeavors, brother.
Yeah, you never know when you might lose at someone, so treat them right, you see me? I found myself dreaming in silver and gold, like a scene from a movie that every broken heart knows. We were walking on moonlight and I pulled you close. A split second and you disappeared, and I was all alone. I woke up in tears with you by my side, a sigh of relief, and I realized we're not promised tomorrow. So I'm gonna love you like I'm gonna lose you, and I'm gonna hold you like we're saying goodbye. Wherever we're standing, I won't take you for granted, 'cause we never know when.
Pull it up, selector. Pull it up, selector.
Hey, yeah. You never know when you might lose at someone, so treat them right, you see me? I found myself dreaming in silver and gold, like a scene from a movie that every broken heart knows. We were walking on moonlight and I pulled you close. A split second and you disappeared, and I was all alone. I woke up in tears with you by my side, a sigh of relief, and I realized we're not promised tomorrow. So I'm gonna love you like I'm gonna lose you, and I'm gonna hold you like we're saying goodbye. Wherever we're standing, I won't take you for granted, 'cause we never know when we will run out of time. So I'm gonna love you like I'm gonna lose you, love you like I'm gonna lose you, girl. In the blink of an eye, just a whisper of smoke, you could lose everything. The truth is we'll never know. So I'll kiss you longer, baby, every chance that I get. I'll make the most of each minute and love without regrets. Let's take our time to say what we want, use what we have before it's all gone, all gone. Cause no, we're not promised tomorrow. So I'm gonna love you like I'm gonna lose you, and I'm gonna hold you like we're saying goodbye. Wherever we're standing, I won't take you for granted, cause we'll never know when we will run out of time.
Yeah, man, and that one is the big tune, Like I'm Gonna Lose You by Koriq. Man, I tell us the tune, mad. Thank you so much for locking in. You know, I mean, make sure you check out the podcast and go ahead and subscribe to that. It's called Homegrown with G. Cole. It's available on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, any one of your podcast apps. Go ahead and check that out. And again, look out for Koriq. We're going to be talking to him real soon. Just know that any of the major artists out there, Koriq has probably worked with. From Taurus Riley to Tessan Chin to a host of others. So make sure you go ahead and check out the artists and support where I go on it. And again, thanks to the masses that's all tuned in. It's Homegrown.
Like I'm gonna lose you, and I'm gonna hold you like we're saying goodbye. Wherever we're standing, I won't take you for granted, cause we'll never know when we will run out of time.
And there you have it. Thank you so much for tuning in. It has indeed been a pleasure. Remember, be safe, be kind, and be good to each other. My name is G. Cole, and this is Homegrown.
Nakikinika sa música, Homegrown with G. Cole.
Estás escuchando Homegrown con G. Cole.
您现在正在收听的是 Homegrown with G. Cole.
You're listening to Homegrown with G. Cole.
Remember, all the music played here on Homegrown with G. Cole is available on iTunes, Spotify, and all your digital retailers. Please support the artist.